Well, she's back. So what is the verdict on her? Stay tuned and find out. We'll talk about it in a second. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Into My GT Entertainment, and I am Joel. Nice to see you here on this hell of a day, I'm telling you. It feels like it's hell on earth. It's freaking, well, the truck said it was 106 degrees, so give or take, but it's hot. So what I want to do is talk about Electra today, and let you know what's going on, what the verdict is on her, and what we did, and where we're at the moment. So I'm going to get some things together, and we'll get this video started. See you in a minute. Alright, everybody, today's going to be kind of like a show and tell, showing you some of the things that we did to try to get Electra fixed and where we ended up with her. If you remember, I had a ticking noise and I didn't know where it was coming from, and the car was running kind of rough and whatnot. So here's a video of that ticking noise. So that was the ticking noise that was in the car. Didn't know what it was from. Sounded like it was coming from the bottom of the car. Thought it was exhaust and that and the other. So, you know, we started going through the car to see what was going on. So I was going to have him put in my clutch anyway. I have an RST McLeod that I put in there. And while he was doing that, I got him to pull down the headers and to see about any leaks and whatever that was going on. So this is what we found with that. Hold on real fast. Okay, so the first thing he did was take it down the headers off the car, and lo and behold, there was a hole ripped into the gasket. Now, I have Cook's headers, and I use the Cook's gaskets. Well, come to find out, that's probably not a good thing to do, because here are the gaskets that came out the car. If I can get out the bag. It blew a hole right in it. So that was part A. The passenger side wasn't as bad, but it was still bad. So this was the driver's side right here. So that's garbage. So yeah, that was the first part of the whole fiasco of this car. So the next thing was I used the bolts that came with the car, with the headers. If you use Cook headers, it comes with a set of screws that go, you take out the head screws, and then you put these in its place. Hold that thought, let me get it. All right, like I was saying before, when you get a set of Cook headers, it comes with the gaskets, and then it comes with these bolts. These are the header bolts. You're supposed to take out the header bolts that are in your actual factory heads, where it connects to the heads in the header, and put these in its place. So you take the studs out, take the bolts away, these go in its place. There are keepers that go on that. It's like a little lock that goes around it that would supposedly cause it from backing out. That doesn't happen. All that does is make it rattle. So we went ahead and put the head studs back in, the header studs, excuse me, and then use the factory bolts that come with the car. It makes it easier actually to install because it has something to rest on because if not, you're trying to put up the header and trying to fit the bolt in and all this other garbage where you have the stud there. You can lay it on it, it's all sit there, and then you just kind of push it together. Of course, you try to use the stuff that comes with the stuff, thinking that, you know, hey, you're doing all right with it, but garbage too. So let me go off to the next thing. See you in a minute. All right, so the next thing on the grocery list was a clutch. This is my factory clutch that we took out, or he took out, excuse me. It wasn't bad, he said. It was evenly worn, but for the horsepower that I'm running, this was not going to handle what I needed to do. So this came out, and I'll show you some pictures of the new one that got in. So enjoy that for a second. And now this is the actual clutch itself, the pad, the plate, I guess. That is the plate that goes on the pressure plate, and this goes inside of it. And as you can see, it's not bad. It's not even really worn to the bolts. It's not cracked. There's some area right about there that it's kind of down a little bit. But for the most part, the clutch was wearing evenly. Like I said, again, it just wouldn't handle the power that I was putting down on it. So we'll go ahead and move to the next thing. Be right back. All right. So the next thing I went ahead and got was a new flywheel. Now this isn't bad. It's not burned up, and of course, so I could probably get this turned, you know, and then probably be used if needed be. But I got an aluminum one, race spec one for the McLeod. So you know, just going with the thing. All right, so we got the clutch in. We got the new headers put up with the new head bolts and header bolts, and you know, the header studs, and had all that stuff put in. Turned on the car. This is what happened. Give it a little gas. Okay, so at this point, we were looking around for the noise, and it was still there, and it still sounded like it was coming from the same side. So we were scratching our heads. It's like, okay, so maybe I did hurt the motor. So we were sitting there looking at it and doing different things, and we went ahead and dumped the oil out of it to see if there was any shavings in it or anything like that. Now, I want to talk about this oil for a second. Not too long ago, I want to say the late part of May, excuse me, I have a VIP with my car with Ford. So I took my car in, got the service done, you know, just like normal. So they put in a new oil change, got my inspection done. Yeah, so it's May because the inspection sticker's May. So I might have driven my car 300 miles. And I got to contact Ford about this. The oil that came out of my car looked like Coca-Cola. That quick. And I was like, I don't know if these people changed it or whatever, or got caught up and thought they'd changed it. I don't know. But that wasn't fresh oil in this car. And like I said, it was a lot too. It was almost 10 gallons of oil in this car. I mean, not gallons, quarts in this oil. So, you know, we were sitting there looking at it, and there was no metal in it, thank God. But that just led to my mind thinking another thing. It's like, okay, I've been taking my car there for the last couple years because of this VIP. Have they really been doing the service? But we didn't get a video of that because of all the other stuff that was going on with the car. But we will have a word with them about that at some point. So moving on. Alright, so we were sitting there, still had the noise. Did the oil thing, redid the oil, put a heavier weight oil on it, see if it would help with the knocking or whatever. Didn't change a thing. So everybody was saying, take the belt off the car and run it without the belt to see if you still have the noise. Because what that does, it eliminates anything that is belt driven. So like water pump, the blower, alternator, it'll eliminate all that noise, or those things from making noise. So if you still had the noise, at least you know it wasn't those things. So we did that, and yeah, we still had the noise. So we sat there, and you know, I was tired. I was just like, I want to go home. I don't feel like messing with this thing anymore tonight. The good thing about Jay is a perfectionist when it comes to stuff. So it was bugging him more than me that the car wasn't running right, and he couldn't figure out why at that time. So, you know, next day goes by. Well, we come home, not worried about it. I started shopping motors because I was like, well, I done toasted this one, so, you know, I have to start thinking ahead, going for the next build. So that didn't happen. So let me tell you what happened next. All right. So I get a text the next morning, and Jay's like, well, I still can't figure out this noise. So he was reading, talking to some people in the community, and he knows a couple tuners. He knows a couple, you know, car mechanics, race mechanics, stuff like that. So he was just reaching out, trying to figure out, you know, what this could be. Because it didn't sound like rod knock. It didn't sound like bottom end noise. You know, it was something else going on. So everybody in the forums were like, check your injectors. The injectors seemed fine. They weren't noisy. They were all working. But, you know, at this point we were just trying whatever. So, oh yeah, by the way, I did change the spark plugs again a couple of videos ago. So they had fresh spark plugs in it. So it wasn't the spark plugs. He checked the injectors. They were making all noises and they were all in good rhythm and everything. So, you know, there was nothing wrong with the injectors. So something made him think about it for a minute. So he started pulling the coils out while the car was running to see if there was any change. So he pulled all of them out. He got to the 8-cylinder, the one in the back corner. Let me show you where that would be. All right, if you have the coil cover off, it is the one in the very back here. What it is, and if you're new to doing stuff, this is the coil pack for a Mustang right here. This thing right here. It looks fine, doesn't look broken, doesn't look anything messed up. But somehow this got jacked up right here, and this is what was causing the ticking the whole time. This little thing right here. So, in a nutshell, it was just a coil that went bad for whatever reason, and it was doing the ticking. Derek told me to check the injectors, and a lot of people saying check the injectors, or, you know, it might be a bad lifter or whatever. And like I said, Derek was halfway right. It was part of the injector, but, you know, it wasn't the injectors themselves. They're fine. It was the coil that goes on top of it that makes a spark, and, you know, it wasn't sparking, so it was running on 7 cylinders. That's why it was running rough. But that's not the end of the story. Let's get back to the rest of it here. Hold on. So, after he got that done, he got that was all gone, everything, but the car was running really rich. And we couldn't figure out why the car was running really rich. Yeah, I mean, the tailpipes were black. I mean, they were like tar. It was so dark. So, you know, we were trying to figure out what happened there. He was throwing things at me. I was throwing things at him. You know, we were just trying to figure out what was going on. I'm not a mechanic, so it's out of my wheelhouse. There's certain things I know and can do, but when it gets to that stuff, I was just kind of lost. But he started talking around with some people and whatever. And then he brought the car home that day, showed me what was going on and whatever, and that's where the car sat. Here she is right now. It was running really rough, and like I said, it would sit there and idle weird. I did a data log on it, sent it up to Lund, and they never got around to looking at it because he was researching it and he found what he did wrong. It's a simple mistake and it's a learning experience, I guess. But what happened was when he dropped the transmission, the two oxygen sensors, the O2 sensors, got twisted. So one was on one side, one was the other. So you had the front and rear. So the actual rear was in the front and the front was in the rear, and it was making the car read all crazy. So that's why, because I sent him the data log and he saw it and he kind of read it and then started bouncing it off of some of his tuner friends. So that's what happened. Now we're at the point where the car is here. He came by, swapped them around, and let me show you what happened. Hold on. The ticking is gone. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but the car is running perfect right now. There's no hesitation, no ticking other than, you know, the normal ticks that the type of car has. Come down here. No noise. So that is now fixed. So you come back here. Has a nice idle. Sorry that she's dirty, but you know, she's had some stuff going on. Sounds good now. Alright everybody, so the car is running the way it's supposed to now. It's actually better than it's supposed to. It runs a whole lot smoother. Still has a little rough idle at times. I think it's just learning because like I said, we done changed the spark plugs, the coil pack, you know, exhaust has no leaks now. So we had to do the relearn for the clutch itself. So it's getting to where it needs to be. I drove it around yesterday and it felt fine. It wasn't stuttering, cutting off, or anything else. So the whole culprit of the thing from a week ago was this. Coil pack, they go bad. You know, I've never heard of one ticking like that. I don't know if other people have, but like I said, that's the first for me, so you don't know what you don't know. All right, everybody, and like I said, if you want to hit up Jay, hit him up on his Instagram at jgray757. He'll get you back, and if you're in the Richmond area, he does do on-hand repairs. So, you know, it worked for me. So, if you want to go ahead and hit him up, I'll put his link right here too. All right, we'll see you in a minute to close out this video. All right, everybody, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like I said, Electra is now back in the way she needs to be, actually a little better. So, thanks to Jay for helping me out and getting her straight on my time of need. So there she is, and just remember the culprit was this right here, the coil pack. Not a problem anymore, but always have one on hand. I think you should have now. But anyway, I don't know if it's the supercharger or whatever, or just shit happens, right? So we'll catch you on the next video, and hope y'all stay cool because it's 100 degrees outside and I'm not going out there. So see you on the next one.